Well, hello everybody, and we're here with Hairdresser Power, channel neutral. Can talk about anything you want, answer a lot of questions, ask a lot of questions, because we've got the answers for you. And we're here with Michelle Stevenson, and I heard that you have a lot of people that are going to ask questions today, right?
Yeah, hope so.
Your crew?
Yeah.
Your internet crew?
My
social media crew?
social media team.
Yeah, so social media, let's get that out of the way, because, you know, we have to.
Yes.
So what's your position on it?
I know that you have to use social media now. It's like part of our job. So it's just like any other skill that we have, you have to use it.
Yeah, and what are some of the big points of advice, like the top 2 or 3 that you could give people on how to use it properly?
Consistency.
Okay.
And be
well,
yourself.
now let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When you mean consistency, do you mean that the same kind of posts? Do you mean that don't put family posts? What's your opinion on that? We get a lot of different,
I think consistency is just doing it.
Okay.
Maybe not every day. Maybe you do it twice a week. Maybe you do it 3 times a day. But whatever that is, stick to that. Okay. And that's what I mean by consistency.
So do you, for example, would you do like a hair post and then do maybe something that you're doing personally, or do you stick to hair? Or how do you do it? How do you do it?
Every now and then I'll put in something personal so that my audience knows who I am and they can see a little inside, but I don't usually leave those posts up. So like for the holidays, I'll put up a photo of my family, or like yesterday, Father's Day, and I put, a photo up and some photos of my kids. But after a week, I'll delete it because I don't really want it living there.
All right.
But I do want people to see a little bit of me.
That's good advice. That's it's working out for you. And then the number 2 thing was?
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
So don't try. It's okay to be inspired by other people. Personally, this is my opinion.
Okay.
It's okay to be inspired by people, but don't try to be like them.
Okay.
Figure out what you like about them and then incorporate into you.
I try to get people to answer this question. They usually back away from it. We'll see what you'll do. But I'm following. I'm new to it. I've been doing it for what, 6 months, and pretty heavily. And I noticed that everybody's page is starting to look very similar. A lot of people, not everybody's, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people are copying, like you say, other people.
Right.
And I'm going like, I don't even want to like them anymore because, well, how do you feel about that?
I agree.
Okay.
And I think that everybody, for a long time, we're trying to find their thing, like the thing that made them different. And I think that everybody still needs to probably work on that again. And instead of trying to stand out, just try to be you and try to find your thing that makes you you, instead of just trying to be completely opposite than
everybody else. So it's more of a reflection of your reality, not your fake reality you're trying to create to make people think who you are. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And that's kind of how you do it, right? You be yourself.
I'm myself, so that way I don't ever have to remember what I said about something. It really was truly how I felt, and that's it. And then you don't have to remember lies.
I like it.
You don't say it.
So, when you take pictures, for example, do you have any techniques? And a lot of people now are using the ring flash. Some people say they're moving away and going to natural lighting. What's your opinion on that?
So my new salon that I just opened.
Congratulations, by the way. What's the name of it?
Thank you. Salon 1506.
Okay, I love it.
And we have a lot of natural lighting. So when I was looking for a building, that was extremely important to me. So we have a huge window on one side and then a wall of windows on the other side. So there's a lot of natural light. And I prefer natural light, but we also have a ring light. I just bought a couple of shadow boxes to kind of play with.
Okay.
And we take a lot of clients outside. And I just think, find out what works for you and what you like personally. There's no right way to do anything. It's just your way.
That's great advice. But just know what you're kind of looking for, right?
Yeah, and I think natural lighting, there's nothing that can beat that. And
well, it has a full spectrum.
Yeah, and a ring light is nice for showing off maybe like fashion colors or certain blondes. Maybe if you have a client who's like freaking out about warmness, take a picture in the ring light and show them that picture on your phone and
calm them down a little. Give them a neck rub. It's going to be okay, right? So now, I know you're in a different, we talked a little earlier, and you're in a kind of a different situation than a lot of people.
Yes.
And I always say bread and butter, everybody says great coverage. But you said you don't have to because you have your salon.
Right.
Okay, so explain that to everyone.
So my focus is now my salon and my salon team and building them. So I give a lot of my overflow, people who are reaching me on Instagram or through social media to my stylists who work
nice.
at the salon now.
You're great.
So I get to just do what I like to do and people who I like to be with. And probably a few years ago when I was traveling and I'm a mom and I don't have a ton of time for work. I work when my kids are at school. So I've had to really figure out my clientele and only have people who I enjoy being in my chair, because I don't have time to deal with people who are negative or who aren't gonna feel lucky to be in my chair.
Or take energy from you. Or,
yeah,
that I agree. I call them the psychic vampires. You know,
Yeah.
they kind of suck your energy.
Yes.
And whether it's because you're really busy or because you have an opportunity like you did, where you create your own salon, which creates revenue for you, it's great to get away from that kind of a person, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, some money is just not worth it.
I agree. Well, you know, you could charge them 3 or 4 times, but you know, really, you'd rather just have a better client, right?
I'd rather have no money than that kind of
So
money.
how long have you been doing hair? Because you progressed pretty quickly here.
So I started in the industry when I was 18.
Okay.
And I
what was
started as a receptionist.
As a receptionist, okay.
Yeah, so front desk coordinator is what we called it.
Okay, yep.
And then I moved with a bunch of people and kind of managed their salon, and then I did commission. I went to traditional beauty school. I did an apprenticeship, and then because I didn't finish beauty school because I drank the water, got pregnant.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then I did an apprenticeship, and I've been doing hair kind of on the side, but only been licensed this past April for 3 years.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Only in America. Only in America, you know?
No, you have to work really hard.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think with you, you did have the business acumen from running the
Right.
salon, and that's where your advantage was, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I know. When I assisted initially, I went in and I had the opportunity to run the salon for 8 really busy hairdressers and assist. So it was kind of gnarly, put you through the fire.
Yes.
But I didn't learn much about hair, but I learned a heck of a lot about running a salon, even though I already had my license.
Right.
So for me, it kind of put me towards that realm as well. So I see where that could happen for you.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So now you built your social media, you love what you're doing, and I think we have some pictures of some of the stuff that you really like that you want to show. I think we have like 15 pictures today, huh?
No, not that many.
No? How many do we have
15?
today? We have 10? Awesome. Great. Hey, if you've
Okay.
got the work and you want to show it, let's do it, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, remember, you guys, you can ask questions about just about anything, right?
Yep, anything.
And the other thing is Michelle does private education, really affordable, good private education.
do.
You want to talk about that a little bit more
Yeah,
before we start?
at Salon 1506. I try to do it monthly or every other month, but $80 for a class because I do it because I love it and not because...
Yeah, it's from your heart, right?
Yeah,
I
not
like that.
because I have to, and I don't have any overhead because it's at my salon.
Sure.
So
Now, how many people can you accommodate in a class?
up to 100, but
Really?
but I prefer to keep it under 20 so
Okay.
that everybody really
More
feels like
personal
they
attention?
got a lot out of
What
it.
type of subjects do you like to cover?
I do a little bit of everything, and the way that I teach is I just teach what I know. I don't
Okay.
pretend to know anything I don't know.
Sure.
And so I teach a lot about social media and how to find yourself. So I have a class coming up soon for that, and going over everything from how to take a photo to like what social media outlet to put it on, and
How to hashtag it, how to subject matter,
everything. And I always encourage everybody to bring questions. So just any questions you have for me, just bring them and let's make it a discussion. And
That sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And what's the date on that?
it's next Sunday, the 25th.
Next Sunday, the 25th.
Yeah.
And you still have some room for people?
Yeah, I have a few open spots for
So
that.
if you want to get a hold of Michelle,
Salon1506.com.
salon1506.com. Yeah, that's great. That
Yeah.
sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Well, let's get down to some of your posts that you put
Okay.
up here. So what do we have first? Here you go. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty intense, isn't it?
It is definitely out of the box for me.
Okay.
So this is my friend Erin, and she is in beauty school, and she always comes to me with the craziest ideas, and I always tell her no. And we always kind of figure out somewhere in the middle to meet. And this time I told her, you come in with your crazy idea, I'll do it, because I wanted to enter a contest.
Okay.
So she came in and we did a total like 2-tone
Yeah, it's cool.
color melt, and it's half and half.
And you tag your watermarked your stuff, right?
Yes, always.
So tell people about that, because I'm interested in that.
I use iWatermark, and I paid a professional person to create a logo for
Okay.
me. and I just upload the logo on there. And I just think it's important because I have had, I've been published a few times, and I think it's really important because people steal people's photos all the time.
Yeah.
And they can still get rid of it, but it just gives them one more step that they have to do to steal your work.
Plus it's cool looking, it identifies you, it brands you, right? I love it. It's really cool. So now can you tell me, how did she start off? Just walk us through it really quickly.
So she had probably 4 inches of natural regrowth.
Nice. What level?
Level 5.
5, okay.
And prior to that, I never do like bleach on scalp, just bleach roots to ends. Whenever I lighten somebody, I always like to diffuse up to the root so that they have a nice grow out. And so we did that, and which was a project in and of itself, and tried to even it out as much as possible. And she had previous color that she had on there, creative color. So instead of bleaching through that, I just kind of worked with that and maybe like hit a couple of her ends.
Cool.
And then I used a combination of, I'm not very brand specific with my vivid colors, so I just used a bunch of
whatever works, right? I think we have a question already. Wow, that's great. So they are coming through for you. Yeah, that's right. It says, do you Facebook live broadcasts of your classes, of your actual classes?
You know what? I don't, because I feel like when people invest, even if it's $80, they invested $80 to be there. And I do have a following that is not necessarily in Southern California, so it's something that I would be interested in finding out how I can do that. But the way that I teach, I think it's better when you're there and present.
Yeah, you get the whole vibe, the energy, get to meet you.
Yeah.
And you can personally, see what they're doing sometimes, they can show you what they've done in the past. You could discuss things.
Well, and sometimes somebody has a question and it makes me get up and move to a different part of the room, and I don't know how I would do that.
Right.
So I would have to hire somebody to come in and be a videographer, and
gotcha.
I don't really, I have enough on my plate right now.
Yeah, I understand.
Maybe in the future.
Okay, something in the future. Good question, by the way. Let's check out the next one. Ooh, nice, nice, loose, kind of sexy, tousled up to. I like it.
So this is my hair unicorn.
Okay.
And I think everybody needs to have a hair unicorn. It's somebody who whatever you want to do to their hair.
Your muse, huh?
It does it perfectly. So I do a lot of sun-kissed balayage and a lot of braid work. And she lets me sometimes do 20 to 30 styles on her hair. And she changes shirts, and we take different pictures with different backgrounds so that it looks like. So I get a lot of content from just one appointment.
That's awesome. I like how you put the little pin right there. That's so cool.
I try to hide it a little.
Yeah, it's very cool. Any other questions? We're good? Okay, guys, we're just, as we go, we'll grab those questions as they come up. What's next? There's you working, huh?
That's why you have 10.
Yeah.
So this was a class that I did, and it was balayage and vivids, and I had 2 models, and this was another $80 class. And I just showed how I do what I do. So I did a balayage, and I did 2 vivids and some braid work.
Great. Now, where are you located? Where's your salon located?
Placentia, California.
Placentia, California. And tell everybody where that is in relation
it's
to Los
a little
Angeles.
like Pocket City by Yorba Linda, Fullerton. That's close to Disneyland.
Kind of Orange County-ish, east Orange County a little bit.
10, 15 minutes from Disneyland.
Yeah, so hey, guess what? You could actually come out here, guys, go to a class with Michelle, and then go to Disneyland.
Yeah,
what could be better than that, right? Or Knott's Berry Farm or whatever.
Yeah.
Or come down to San Diego, go and check out the zoo, check out the beach.
Yeah.
Make a weekend of it, right? There you go. Well, what do we have next? Oh, this is pretty. Yeah, this is real nice.
So this is another just sun-kissed balayage. So that's kind of my specialty. It's very natural and then very not natural.
I like it. And then you got the roots there shadowing out.
So actually she was pink, and I lightened her whole head, so she was mostly blonde with like a little shadow root. And this is just a reverse balayage. So I went in and just added the dark pieces.
Looks nice. Came out real natural. Nice tone. Good tonal quality. Now, how did you shoot that one? Was that with natural light?
Yeah, so I was working in a suite while my salon was under construction. So in my suite, there's no lighting. Okay. So we would have to walk outside and then
it looks like it might be against a stucco wall or something.
Yeah, halfway down the building, like down a couple businesses.
Right
and
on.
I found like a little gray wall.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
you never know, huh?
You never know.
Never know where the magic's going to happen,
Yeah.
right? All right, well, let's see what's next. Is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, look at you. You're
So this is
teaching.
a blend event. So there's a girl, Piper, who hosts an event called Southern, I think it's SoCal Blend, and it's just makeup artists and hairdressers getting together. It's a free event.
Okay.
And I'm the new host salon for it.
Wonderful.
And we have guest speakers, and everybody does a demo. And so the first one that I hosted, I was the speaker in
That's
the demo.
really cool. Yeah, I noticed that not as much manufacturers anymore aren't the more popular education. It's people doing it on their own in groups and
Right.
co-ops and things like that. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, I feel really strongly about that because I have taught for companies and I loved it. But the part where I had to sell
Right.
felt very fake and not me. So that's why I gravitate towards independent education. I think it's important, though, for people to be good educators, too, who are doing independent
Yes.
education, because I think that sometimes people are really good at something, but then they don't know how to teach it in a
Yes.
way for people to understand. And then
We agree.
I think that sometimes that gives independent education a bad name.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is, the more of it you do, you become better not only at the education, but also in your own work.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. How'd you feel about that when you started to do education? Did it kind of challenge you?
Yes, I loved it. And I would love it when somebody would, ask me a question and say, why don't you do it like this? And throw something out there. And then I'm like, I don't know, why don't I do it like that? And I'm very honest. So I would say, you know what, that's a great idea.
I've learned so much
Yeah.
from educating. I've been educating people for years and years and years, and I've learned so much from the educational process.
Yeah.
And just seeing maybe what I'm explaining to you is too complicated, and making it so they can understand it, simplifying it and making it better sometimes, right?
Yes, absolutely. And there's sometimes when I have classes and somebody will come to me at the end, and during the class I'll say, I know this is very basic, but
Right.
they came up and said, that was not basic to me at all. I mean, it is a basic concept, but I never thought about it like that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then I know that when you first started out, you were a little nervous, right? So tell us, how'd you get over your jitters? And
I don't.
you don't?
It takes me a little while to get into it, and then I'm comfortable.
But once you get into it, you forget all about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because so many people have asked us, and people that come on the show now, they're like, we really want to go to that next step. I mean, we're great at social media. We have a big following. We feel like we want to start sharing and teaching people, but we just don't have any background. How do we learn? How do we get ourselves to that next level? A lot of times we will help them.
Yeah.
But how did you do it?
So I got just thrown into it and like sink or swim. And I think that's the best way to do it, is just work through your fears and push through your fears. And every time you're going to get better and more comfortable. And I still get nervous every single time. I got nervous
'cause you care.
today, right now.
Yeah, because you care, right?
Yeah.
You want to do a good job. You want to really give that great information.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, we have another question. Wonderful.
Yay.
All right, team, come on now, ask questions. Let's see. Okay, here you go. Do you use a regular bleach or a clay bleach to balayage?
I use, it depends on the situation, but I tend to gravitate towards clay lighteners for balayage, and I do everything hand painting. It took me a long time to figure out how to diffuse, and that's why I teach classes on it, because I do it a little bit different than the ways that I've been taught. But sometimes you have to use a regular bleach, especially if somebody has previous color. They have to.
Yeah.
You're going to get orange if you use a clay lightener.
Yeah.
You sometimes need to bump it up to a regular bleach, and it's just situational, I think.
Okay, good. So you're open to both.
Yeah.
But it depends on what you're trying to achieve.
Yes.
Good answer. What is your favorite service? They're asking.
Favorite service?
Yeah. Like Air Force, Marines, Army, what? No, just kidding.
Marines. Yeah.
The Marines, hey.
Braiding?
Really? Seriously?
Yeah.
So you're into braiding, huh?
I love
What kind
braiding.
of braids do you like to do? What's your favorites?
I do them all.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do a lot of...
Cornrows?
No.
Okay, so I'm just saying.
I do like big braids.
Yeah,
like
big
this.
braids.
So
Big, nice loose
every
braids.
Tuesday I do a tutorial Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I teach people how to do updos and basic braids. So maybe updos, upstyling.
Okay, so upstyling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. So how have you seen upstyle changing in your, I know you've been in the industry a while.
Yes.
What do you see some of the changes and what are some of the trends coming up?
So it used to be very perfectionist.
Yes.
Very, every hair in its place, very tight, very put together.
Very smooth and sprayed.
And now, and I never have styled that way.
Okay.
I've always had kind of a loose, romantic feel when I do upstyling. And almost, and I've always advertised it like this, almost like you did it yourself, but cuter.
Right, yeah, like it's balanced.
Yeah. So I think the big braids and the big pancaked braids are gonna be around for a while.
And if people aren't so familiar with that and they want to learn, you have some great classes, I'm sure.
Yes, I do.
There you go. Hey,
or
follow
Tutorial
her.
Tuesdays, free.
Tutorial Tuesdays free.
Every Tuesday.
On what's on Instagram?
Yeah.
And what's that under your?
Yeah, Michelle Hair.
Michelle Hair? You got it. We got another one. How do you feel about back combing when balayaging?
I think you should do whatever works for you.
Okay.
I don't
You
personally do that.
Okay, no, okay.
I like the more sun-kissed look. I'm not a huge fan of the high contrast. I will do a high contrast if I'm doing a vivid color over it.
Okay.
But I like a more natural look with balayage. I think
so hand painted, edging, things like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good answer. Good question, by the way. Thank you. What's next? What do we have next? Okay, tell us all about this one.
Speaking of not liking high contrast.
I know, right? There you go.
So this was...
But it's silver, so it's okay. Yeah, it's fine.
So I only do silver if people want extensions. So this is extensions.
All right, all right. And then, I'm going to ask you a question then.
Yeah.
What kind of extensions do you like? What's your technique? I'm saying tape in. Do you, sew in? Velcro? What do you do?
It depends on the client's lifestyle.
Okay.
So I personally prefer to do individuals.
Okay.
There are some really nice.
You like a lot, bead or lock.
Yeah. Okay. There's some really nice wefts on the market now. So I used to work for an extension company called Perfectress, and they have a really nice individual. They now have a really thin weft that you can bead in or clip in. Okay. And so I use them mainly. Tape-ins,
it's not for you, huh?
I have a few clients who have tape-ins only for fill-in.
Okay.
I don't like doing tape-ins for a full head because I feel like people who want a full head of tape-ins want it because it's less money than individuals.
Right, and you don't like the performance of them as much, right?
No, I think it's more the client. They don't take care of them very well.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of clients get extensions and then they think they don't ever have to brush their hair again.
Yeah, no.
And then it's a big deal.
Yeah, because that's the old Bedell Sassoon thing going bad. Yeah. You don't look good, we don't look good. Yeah, that's not a good advertisement, is it?
Yeah, and I have a whole website for extensions that has frequently asked questions, my pricing, just dedicated to that because it's a big deal.
It's a big commitment. It is, and a big investment and a big commitment, and maintenance is important.
Yes, and if people have really dark hair and they want really light, something like this, they have to get extensions. Yeah, I don't do that to their real hair.
Yeah, you just don't want to do that kind of a contrast.
No.
I love it. This looks beautiful, though.
Thank you.
So, what was the story on this one? What was your process and what was your concept?
I think this was the first client that ever found me on Instagram.
Wow,
and
really?
Just contacted me on Instagram, and I was like, "Really? You just found me on Instagram? You want to come in?"
Yeah.
And my extension prices are not cheap. And she was like, "Nope, I've done my research. You have everything out there. This is what I want." And she had really dark hair. And I told her, if you go black and we're going to do black hair color in your hair, you cannot change it for a year. We're sticking to black. And if you want to do
something. Especially when it's that long, too.
Yeah. If you want to do something, we're going to gradually get there. And 1 year later, she is pastel.
So you're a take-charge kind of gal, it sounds like.
I've learned that you have to.
I would agree.
You have to take...
Better relationship, right?
Yeah. You have to be... You're the professional.
Yes.
And you have to give that off, otherwise people sense that.
Great advice. I like that. Very good. We have another question here. What would you suggest for someone who is not good at updates or braids? Or, excuse me, updos or braids?
Just practice.
Yeah? Doll head it? Get a friend?
Yeah, I have a lot of my tutorials are very basic. So if you can look at my tutorials, breaking it down into smaller steps is better than just feeling overwhelmed, because they can be overwhelming, but if you just keep practicing, you get better.
Good advice. Great advice, actually. And go get a class with you. That's the bottom line, right? We love that.
Michelle Hair.
Yeah, Michelle Hair. Remember, Michelle Hair. Anyways, what's next? Oh boy.
So this is the same girl 1 year later.
Okay.
And this is all her real hair.
She's got a lot of hair. That's great.
Her hair is like freak of nature. I bleached it and it like not one hair fell out of her head. I did platinum card the first time, and then I let it grow out for a while, and then we went in again probably 3 months later. And so the in-between, she had kind of a bright pink because she had a lot of orange underneath. And she was willing to do what I asked her to do.
It's a big commitment.
Get here one day. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, so you did it.
I did.
Good job.
I know.
Yeah. So do you tend to get people with longer hair, shorter hair? What do you think with your clientele?
I think longer hair is most of my clientele, but I like to, every now and then, maybe there's an older woman who's not my ideal, what I'm putting out there on social media. I like to take that client and challenge myself and make sure that I'm still, working on my skills in all areas. And I like a challenge, so
that's great. Yeah,
I kind of.
You could, and if it breaks off, give them a Katy Perry haircut, right?
No, that is
just
awful.
Kidding. she looks cute. She looks cute though. I think she pulls it off. Yeah. I think her hair went a little too far. I think, and that's why she ended up there. Do you too?
Yeah. That's good for us.
Yeah, I think it's great
because we can show people. That's what happens.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Doesn't
go
matter
ahead.
How much money you have.
Yeah, we'll push it, but. Only so far, right?
Yeah.
There you go. So good advice. All right. Let's see. Okay, we got another one then. We don't have a question. We got another one. Woo, hello, Miss Braid.
There's my braid work.
Yeah, is that gal?
No, this is a different. Okay. So I guess most of my clients are long hair.
Well, I just started noticing that. I didn't know if they were or not. But you probably like it.
Yeah. Well, it's great for braiding.
Yeah, it is.
So this is my client Natalie, and she was blue.
Okay.
And she wanted to go pink, and so we did a purple in between to get her eventually to pink. And so my clients are really good about knowing the process, and I don't want their hair to fall off, and I want it to look good in the
transitionally. Yeah. Well, I'm telling you once again, I'm hearing, because I've been doing this a little while, you're taking control of the relationship.
Yes.
You are leading, and that's what they're looking for. People don't realize they really want to have not some strict authoritarian, but they want to have somebody who they feel confident in, and that you have a plan for them, right? If you don't have a plan, then they don't really trust you.
Yes, absolutely.
So you're definitely always going in. Consultation is important for you. So generally, how long do you spend consulting? I mean, that's part of your process, obviously.
So a lot of consultations happen over direct message from Instagram, which is okay. But if I'm kind of wary of the person and I don't maybe think that the picture that they sent me is accurate.
Oh, they're catfishing you.
I'll have them come in. Yeah, and I'll make them come in for a consultation. And just recently I started doing strand tests when they come in.
Not a bad idea. Yeah.
And in every quadrant. So like 2 in the back, 2 in the front. And just this last week I did one, and it was pretty intensive. But what she wanted was going to be very intensive, and so I didn't want to overpromise and underdeliver. I think, underpromise, overdeliver is way better.
100%.
So I took some extra time, and it was probably a 30-minute consultation, and I didn't charge her for it, and I didn't make her put a deposit down. She did book an appointment, and now that I say that out loud, I probably should have had her leave a deposit, but I think it's important. Consultation is important to figure out your relationship with the person too, and if it's going to work, because sometimes clients and stylists relationship is not good.
No.
And it's okay to say that. It's okay to send them to somebody else.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
Because you want to have a good life. I mean, you want to enjoy.
When you want them to be happy too.
Absolutely.
You don't want to be fighting a losing battle.
Well, also the expectations that they may have to be sort of realistic on both ends for you and your time, and them and the results. So my next question is, everybody, there's a million answers. We get different answers all the time. But when you're doing these creative colors, or your unicorn colors, your rainbow colors, or your platinum type processes, how do you bill? How do you charge?
I have a website that has all of my pricing on it. So everybody knows what they're getting. And when I do a consultation, prior to the consultation, I have them look at my prices and see if they're comfortable with them. A lightening service is $250. And then the color, the vivid color on top of that is $125.
Okay, so that's really reasonable.
It's very reasonable, and I also want to make that vivid color service affordable because I like taking pictures of it and braiding it. Gotcha. And I want them to feel comfortable to come in and get that color overlaid. And like I said, when I do a lightening service, I always diffuse up to the root. So that way, even if they just leave it, they have a nice rooty blonde.
It'll grow out nice, yeah.
And I tend to stick to pinks and purples because they fade off back to blonde really nicely. Yep. And I think that I put that out there on my social media, and I am very honest with people. And I think pricing too, you know, let's say I lighten somebody and there's orange or there's bands or they weren't honest and they didn't tell me what was under their hair. I would just take them brighter and then tell them you're going to have to come in for another lightening in 4 weeks.
Okay,
and I tell
an additional
them,
charge for
this
that,
is what
obviously.
you need to do.
Yeah, so expectations are realistic. Okay, so then let me ask you this question. Your level, you have an Asian person come in level 1 hair, you know, and they want to go platinum. Now, you definitely do that by the hour, or how does that work for you?
That's not my forte.
Okay, I
so
got you.
I would probably have them
you
go
pass
to somebody
them on.
else
Okay, I
who's
understand.
really good at that and who enjoys doing that.
Good, so you are honest.
Yeah.
That was a great answer. Do we have any more questions? You guys are waving your hands. No, you okay? Doing good? Okay, so let's look at the next photo and see what we have. Oh, wow, that's pretty.
That's my hair unicorn.
Yeah, she
Same
has
girl.
great hair.
So she's a teacher and she can't have, you know, crazy hair. So we do this maybe on the weekend and she washes it a few times and it's gone like within a week.
Yeah, that's pretty.
So we just did a pastel over her balayage, and she has a beautiful base anyway, so it works with every color I put on her.
I like that braid too. So you just basically braid it off the side and then pinned it up, right?
Yeah, I just take hairs like a lace braid, so you just take from one side.
And then just whoop, rip it over, and there you go. That's nice. That looks really attractive. I love it. Any questions yet, guys? Anything else? Nope. What do we have next, guys? Okay, more braids, and these are cool. Now, this is the same head, just you just open them up, right?
Yeah, this is her again.
But you just open them up is what you did, right?
So a lot of people are confused, especially client-wise. Maybe my following is probably half hairdressers and half clients, so I like to speak to both of them. And sometimes as a hairdresser, you forget that, you know, your consumer is watching and they don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
So just to show Dutch braids before they're pulled out and after they're pulled out, and how some people just don't know that.
Oh, is that a different thing? No, it's the same braid. You just open them up a little bit. That's kind of cool. Just change the look. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Anything else, guys, question-wise? Yep, we have one. Okay, here it is. Because when they do like this, I know you can't see them, but they go like this to let me know there's a question over there. That's why I don't let you guys face that way, because it'll distract you.
I was trying to look in the mirror.
Oh, that's no fair. Don't do that. Hey, make sure to move that mirror, guys. Oh, anyways.
No, I can't see that.
When a client leaves the salon, do you suggest Olaplex 3 to take home?
Yeah, so whenever, especially a vivid client comes in, especially pastel, I have them leave with an Olaplex number 3, and I put a little bit of their like dominating color formula into it.
Okay.
And that is included in the price.
Oh, okay.
So it's not something they have to buy on top of it. If they have a pink or a purple, I will send them home with a pink and a purple shampoo that they have to purchase.
Okay.
And they know that
that's a retail item.
Yeah, and they know that's something that they have to do to maintain their color.
I think that's fair.
In between.
I think that's definitely fair.
Yeah, and I also do sometimes like just a root retouch for Vivens, because I do a lot of like rooting, like darker to lighter.
Sure. Okay.
For $60.
Wow.
So they can come in, and really it's just a blow dry.
Sure.
I'm just throwing on their root color, letting them sit for 20 minutes. They get a blow dry. I get some pictures. It's a win-win. So I try to make it affordable for my clients to maintain their...
Well, it's nice that you're able to do that for them.
Yeah.
Because not everybody is, as you know.
Yeah.
Right on. You have nothing else, girls? Okay. What do we have next? Any more pictures? Are we good?
I think we're done.
Is that 10? 10 to perfection.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? It was really good because you were very honest.
I am very, like, overly honest.
And I think that's great
thing.
when you're learning and educating too, for somebody to say, hey guys, I mean, I could tell you we could do all this, but here's the reality of the range that you need to stay in.
Yeah.
Because you don't get into trouble, your clients are happy,
right.
which makes probably you happy in the long run, right?
Right. And you can set up a plan for your clients. Like, this is where you want to be. Okay, I don't know what your hair is going to do today. I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen, so let's go with what happens, and then we'll go from there and see how many more appointments it's going to take.
Okay, now you're into long hair, I see, and
Yeah.
I know you like all of it, but do you see the trends changing within the next 2 years? What do you see for the future? I'd love to ask this question.
You know what? I don't know.
Yeah?
I like just rolling with it.
What's your gut tell you? Anything?
I think everything is
Fair game?
I think it's all like here to stay. Like the fun unicorn
like hair feathers,
is,
right? I always
No.
I can't help it. I think people now are going to start making comments. Could that guy stop talking about hair feathers? It's only been like 50 times.
That reminds me of Steven Tyler when he was
Right.
on American Idol
Well,
with all of his
that's what we're
hair
talking
feathers.
about, yeah.
Yeah, no, I did those.
Yeah.
I wore them. I rocked
And they went
them.
away
Yeah.
real fast, and I haven't seen. In the last interview we did, they said, this lady comments at the very end, hey man, I'm wearing a hair feather right now. Yeah, well, hey.
You know what? I have my extra hair feathers because you never know.
You never know.
What is going to come back.
Now, because I'm talking about them, watch. I'm going to have the curse of the hair feathers coming back, and I'm going to be like, no!
I will be so mad at you.
It was so bad for like 2 years
know.
of insanity. It was so bad that people were literally, you know, the people that make the fishing lures. Oh, you knew. Oh, so you totally
Oh,
knew.
I was in.
Woo!
I was contacting fishing places trying to find them. Because they're like $25 for one little feather.
I know, crazy, right?
Yeah, it was insane.
And you had to cut the hair out afterwards because you couldn't get the damn thing out.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, it was fun. It was fun. It was a trend.
It was
so,
fun while
so
it
you
lasted.
don't see any real things coming up in the future. I know platinum blonde's pretty hot right now. I know that the unicorn stuff's pretty hot, even for older people at this point. Anything? Just
You know,
I know false eyelashes were good for a while, right?
I have mine on.
I know they look good. I noticed. That's why I said it. Go ahead.
I love the sun-kissed, and I
do too.
loved when there was like a little wave of a lot of natural.
Yeah.
And then it
Like
got
that real
a lot
fine
more,
sectioning,
Yeah.
and pop it up really high and just really hit it, and the
Yeah.
ends really light,
Yeah.
like the whole. I think that looks hot.
Yeah, my daughter has like the most beautiful blonde, like natural balayage, and I sit and try to like
Duplicate it.
I try to study it and
Yeah.
like figure out where's these highs and lows,
Yeah.
and it's
It's the way the sun kisses the hair, huh?
yeah.
Yeah, I think I've noticed lately
hope.
that a lot of people are into that.
Yeah.
And the little baby lights and things like that. Shadow root's kind of hot right now.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot. We appreciate it, and thanks for being honest.
Yeah.
And I really want people to be able to get out there and make a little vacation out of it, guys. Go see her in her salon.
come see
Go to Disneyland afterwards, right? Have a great time. And once again, where do they get to see you at?
Instagram, Michelle Hair. And if you're a hairdresser, I have a business page on Facebook that's Michelle Hair Business, and then Salon 1506.
Thanks so much. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
And no other questions, guys? And guys, remember, Hairdresser Power, Instagram, Facebook, and also on YouTube. That's where all this lives, the full interviews.
Yes.
And I'd like you to subscribe so that anytime there's something new, like Michelle or a friend or somebody else that's trending comes up, guess what? We notify you. And there you go.
Awesome.
That's the way to do it. And also, we're always looking for hairdressers that want to educate and share on Hairdresser Power. So maybe one of these days you might want to come over and do a little session and show people what you got with Hairdresser Power. That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
Because I like your philosophy. I like the way you are so honest. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.